Correct. Um, that still look fantastic today. I think they probably spend more time doing that than we spend on producing entire feature film. Now, okay, let's go forward now. Live action and animation. In the 80s, to be exact, like 1986, Roger Rabbit came out. So this is the one when I tell people that I worked on Who Framed Roger Rabbit, people saying that, oh, that was before I was born or when I was a little kid. So there was that. But the difference between that and all the other films that use live action and animation together before was that we started using moving camera, right? So before, if you use animation and live action combined, if you move the camera, you lose the registration. In those days, we don't have tracking. We did not have computer, so you have to move the character to go with the camera. So people usually wouldn't move the camera. But on Roger Rabbit, ILM was involved, that we were moving the camera a lot. And then we started putting some shadows and highlights on the characters to integrate that with the live action. That's the base for a lot of other things to come for about 10 years after that. So everybody is doing that on commercials, feature films, live action animation, character with shadows and highlights to go with the live action people, like Space Jam, one of the examples. So later on, this will move into digital age. So we have something like Avatar. We have something like, in fact, all the effects films. Okay. Now, at the same time, because of the success of Roger Rabbit, so Disney suddenly has become a big player again. Before that, they were producing kind of not very successful films like Black Cauldron, Fox and the Hounds. That would have been in the early 80s. Tron came out. That was the beginning of something big as well. So basically, they started going back to do fairy tales and musicals. And very successful for another 10, 15 years doing Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Lion King, and every film has got a lot of songs in it. The reason that they don't do anything else, because they actually made one, it's not like that. I don't know whether you still remember The Rescuers Down Under. I like the film, right? But it's not a musical, and it did not do very well in the box office, okay? So as a result, so Disney just made the decision, say, from now on, every film we make would be a musical. Right? Everything we do, we have songs. So we have Hunchback of Notre Dame, we have Aladdin, and we have, what else? Hercules, right? And then, of course, Beauty and the Beast, and then Little Mermaid. Every film has got a lot of songs in it. So they don't go out of that song, they just do the same thing. So, and then there were other companies doing good stuff as well. Drone animation, there's a heyday of drone animation. Don Bluth was doing that. And later on, it would die completely, right? And I started in animation when we were still, everybody was still doing drone animation. And I was there when they actually died completely at DreamWorks. It was when they were doing Spirit. Just overnight, all the light boxes, pencil, were gone. They built a light box for animators to work on. Each one cost a few thousand US, and they're selling them off for $30 each. Actually, I bought one myself, but I never really used it again. So that was the end of drone animation. But then something else happened. ILM, Industrial Light and Magic, really is the first company that actually do a lot of computer graphics animation, like Star Wars, Terminator 2, and then this is what, Casper the Ghost. So it's character animation with the computer, computer generated, with live action as well. Okay, so I'll show a little bit of the first one, the first film that you have a creature that talks. Okay, it's called Dragonheart.
Watching over me all night. I've been think I found your name. You say that as 3 weeks now, plucked it from the sky. I did. Up there. Do you see that group of stars?
So yeah, in today's standard, the film might look a little bit rough, right? The dragon's acting is a little bit kind of stiff, and the lip sync not very fluid. Generate right exchange to what happens afterwards. Now, I still remember after Lion King. I was in Florida doing a little bit of work for Disney. Disney still had a studio in Florida at the time. So everybody was saying that, Paul, come to see this. Look at what they're doing at Pixar. So they're actually using computer to do a feature film. That's what really we're saying that, can we really hold people's attention for 60 minutes using characters that are generated by computer with this kind of underwater movement? So we had doubt about that. But of course, you've all seen Toy Story. It was cartoony, it has got character, it's got stories, totally different from what we imagined. So that changed everything. So that was the first full CG character animated film. And that actually, to me, is about the end of drawn animation in feature films. All right. So, of course, other companies start doing the same thing as well. DreamWorks started doing CG films alongside their 2D feature films. So they did another one. In fact, Shrek was supposed to be a very small production, a small film. It's been going on since the 80s. Somebody was working on it on and off at DreamWorks in LA. At one time, it was supposed to be stop motion as well. The design changed many times. So finally, towards the end of the 90s, 1999, they decided to, okay, let's make that into a CG film, full-length feature film, and bring it out after Ants, okay, Green Giant and all that. So let's do it, and then we'll move on to something a little bit bigger. So they didn't expect much. I still remember that. That was my first production at DreamWorks, and we had about 20 to 25 animators there at the time. So of course, if you go to look at DreamWorks now, go to Disney, Pixar, all the animation teams have got like about 100 people, 70 people. We had 25. So we're working late all the time, and the film came out. We started thinking about, oh yeah, well, how much money would it make? And make 100 million in US. So maybe this one, maybe the same kind of figure, 100, 120. Even 120 is too big, right? Too much. But it made 276. So it was a very surprise hit for DreamWorks, for everyone. Okay, so, but then after that, shit, sorry, pardon my French. DreamWorks was thinking, okay, we have a winner. Shrek, people like Fiona, right? So we make another one. Because if you didn't know before, to make a feature film from start to finish, from concept to it being in the cinema, takes about 5 years or more, right? So they have to do it quicker. They have to do it quicker because if they leave it for 5 years, that people will forget about the first one. So, but there's one problem they did not plan to make Shrek 2 when they made Shrek 1. So they had a happy ending. Shrek and Fiona got married, right? Lived happily ever after. So once you do that, there's no story to tell anymore, right? So they're happy. There's no tension, there's no drama, and they quickly get all the writers together and then trying to kind of come up with something they can produce very quickly. So they came up with Shrek 2. And it's basically, it's a kind of quick effort. But it turned out that it was an even bigger film than Shrek 1. So they, of course, they carry on making Shrek and carry on making Christmas special and everything. So now, that's when the time when 2D features start going downhill now, because everybody is going to see something that looks a little bit more realistic, and there seems to be more going on in the facial expressions and all that. I still like 2D as a media, but people start to like this kind of computer-generated characters. Okay, so of course there are other films as well. If you remember the first Ice Age, they're trying to do a computer-generated film that looks like a 2D drawn animated film. So everything is snappy, very fast. The current with Happy Feet, Cloudy with Meatballs. There's Sony Production. So there are other companies like Blue Sky and other companies who are producing more and more feature films that becomes, everybody's doing that, okay? And then, now this is an example of what we're doing, what kind of animation you see in a full-length feature film. Kung Fu Panda, very good example of character which are live action based. Every time they animate a scene, they will actually act in front of the camera. So get the reference from live action and then apply that to the cartoon-looking characters. So we get these effects that is cartoon, but it's got physics, it's got weight. Okay, that's what everybody's doing now. So take a look at this kind of really, I would say, state-of-the-art kind of animation that we see every day now.
Good morning, Master. I thought I'd warm up a little.
You're stuck.
Stuck? Nah, what? Stuck? Nah, this is none of my... Yeah, I'm stuck.
Help him.
Oh, dear. And maybe on 3. 1, 2. Thank you.
Don't mention it.
No, really, I appreciate it.
Ever.
You actually thought you could learn to do a full split in one night? It takes years to develop one's flexibility, and years longer to apply it in combat. Put that down! The only souvenirs we collect here are bloody knuckles and broken bones.
Yeah. Excellent.
Let's get started.
Are you ready?
I was born
I'm sorry, brother. I thought you said you were ready.
That was awesome! Let's go again!
I've been taking it easy on you, Panda, but no more. Your next opponent will be me.
All right, yeah, let's go!
Step forth. The true path to victory is to find your opponent's weakness and make him suffer for it.
Oh, yeah!
To take his strength and use it against him until he finally falls or quits.
But a real warrior never quits.
Sorry?
Don't worry, Master. I will never
Sorry?
quit!
Oh, okay. It's all right. That sounds okay. I think it's here. Yeah.
If he's smart, he won't come back up those steps.
Okay, so something to say about this clip. Like a lot of the cartoon films with these days, a lot of effort has been put into keeping the graphic quality in the movement, so it doesn't look like really live action like, right? So it's still kind of pose to pose and looks a little bit cartoony. Okay, so this mainly every day we go to see a feature film, full-length feature film, the animation is like that. Okay, so how about VFX, right? At the same time, we don't forget that we're doing more and more computer-generated animation on live action films. Star Wars Episode 1, and who can forget Jurassic Park? I can't. I remember going to see it, it's amazing. You can actually put a dinosaur in the human world. It looks like it belongs there. So there was the beginning of something, of course. And how about acting? It's not just the dinosaur anymore. So can a computer-generated character act? You know, cry, laugh, have emotion? So the example, a very good example would be, Gollum in Lord of the Rings. Now, it's still the misconception. There are lots of people think that Gollum was motion capture, right? Motion capture thing, right? The actor acts it out. There's a magic button. Everything goes to the CG characters, and he looks the same. The fact is, most of the good acting scenes in Lord of the Rings were totally hand animated. Mocap technology wasn't there at the time to produce that kind of animation, that kind of performance, and it's still not there yet, okay? So if you look at films like Avatar, they claim that everything is motion capture, performance capture, but the facial animation is done by hand, you know? So we're still kind of in the middle of developing this technology, but we're amazing. We could actually make it look like it was just motion capture, but a lot of this kind of acting performance on CG characters is actually hand-drawn. So, and then later on they develop into this, like Narnia, the mouse, Ribbit Chip, Harry Potter. So now, CG characters have got fur, you know, and looks like it belongs to the environment, and they can talk, they have emotion, right? They can interact with the human in live action films. So things are changing. So let's look at another clip, which is what we're doing a few years ago in Narnia. Oh, sorry. Let's get the...
Choose your last words carefully, Talmarine.
You are a mouse.
I was hoping for something a little more original. Pick up your sword.
No thanks.
Pick it up! I will not fight an unarmed man.
Which is why I might live longer if I choose not to cross blades with you, noble mouse.
I said I would not fight you. I didn't say I'd let you live. Reaper Chief! Stay your blade! Truffle Hunter? I trust you have a very good reason for this untimely interruption.
He doesn't. Go ahead.
He's the one who blew the horn. What?
Okay. So it's still, in my opinion, there's still a kind of limitation to what we can do to a CG creature or CG human. But we're not quite there, but we are very good at that now. The mouse can talk, you can see that.